Okay, hi, hello, welcome. If this is your first time catching me, my name is Melissa Mel, and this is my rebirthing breathwork mastery experience as part of my practitioner training. So we have to go through 36 of our own personal 90-minute breathwork sessions. There's also a theory component, and then also sitting in on the facilitator side, gaining that insight and experience as well. So, this has been my process for part one. So, my personal process and experience with RBM breathwork. And this is my session number 27. It has just gone so incredibly fast. I cannot believe how fast it's gone. The year is just going crazy. It's incredible. Um, so anyway, let's get stuck into um my brief for the past week. So I've left it a little bit later to do my debrief this time because I also participated in the 5 day nervous system reset with the Reconnected with the I am theme. And so I continued my breath work from Tuesday in, and I took it into the 5 day experience with the Reconnected with Eleanor and Emma. Um, so yeah, it's been a pretty massive week here, for me. So my intention from last week, was to actually sit with my money story. So some things have been coming up for me relating to my money story. Um, so to sit with my money story of inconsistency, my inner world, to be curious and willing to explore what's under the surface and allowing it to surface. Excuse me. And actually during the week, as part of as part of my process, this is going to sound really silly. I had a coaching session myself, a shadow coaching session myself as part of my um, training. And I brought this up for me in the session too. And it was like, I really want to buy myself a Thermomix. I just can't press go on. Like, I had it in my card, I had it all filled in, and I just couldn't press approve. I couldn't go through with it. And so, yeah, it was kind of like, for me, it was a little bit of the money story, what it actually means um, to be, to recognizing the level of control that I have around money, recognizing the level of um, responsibility I feel. I can't be irresponsible. Money won't be there when I need it um, if I'm not overly responsible. I can have what I need, but not what I want. Um, and also like what it means when my bank account just drops, and actually going to that place of um that place in my body of who I associated with people having no money, and just being able to go there and feel into that and have that insight. It felt really good. I'm still gonna get, I still want, and I'm still gonna get the Thermomix. But if you know Thermomixes, they're a pretty hefty purchase. It's not just a few $100s. So, it will definitely happen. And I'm still in that process, and I'll get it. I'll show you once I get it. But yeah, so that's been my what's come up from my intention from the past intention. My yeah, my money story was a bit of that. I really wanted to this week kind of it's been under the surface for the last quite a few breaths over the past, I don't know, maybe a couple of months. Um, and what was kind of resurfacing for me, which is where I came to my intention for this week, was really about visibility, feeling um, unsafe being seen, unsafe being noticed. This is something that I've had intentions around previously, but like this is what's coming up for me at the moment. And so my week has been like really full on with this money story, really full on with this feeling unsafe being seen, not feeling like I'm being heard. Um, just, oh my gosh, there was a money story, a big money story. Um, Around our unit, there was a bit of a typo with projected costings. Um, and because this conversation was not had by me personally, it was had by somebody else who agreed to it after I agreed through their consultation. And then I got the projected invoice, and it was like, what the fuck? That's not what we agreed on, you know. Um, what was agreed on was $1,200, and this projected invoice was 17,000, and it was like panic station. So it's been like so full on this week. But, everything that's coming up is coming up to leave. Um, I've just got to remember everything that's coming up is coming up to leave. It's just part of the process. Just kind of let it be. So anyway, um, I don't know if I spoke about this in the last session, but I also had a one-on-one coaching session with Andrew Pierce, who is my shadow work teacher mentor. And, we also had a bit of a conversation about money based on this inconsistency theme. And yeah, there was some personal value attributed to this. Also feeling like that level of conditioning of women do all of this work. There is no financial contribution. And so that work is deemed invaluable. And part of it was me wanting to be an equal contributor, which I laughed at because it just does not feel true that I could achieve that. Um, and also just recognizing that I had an intention to fail. I would get so far and then I'd like drop off. And it kept happening for me. That's that level of inconsistency. I actually did not intend to fail. And I did intend to fail. I did not intend to succeed. We moved through that. And what I came through at the end with my level of this is where I'm at and this is what's true for me was I intend to try. I don't feel like I resonate with I intend to fail. I certainly don't feel like I resonate with I intend to be an equal contributor, but I do. My personal truth is I do intend to try. So yeah, that's been a bit of the money stories from the past week and a bit of background of the intention for this week. Um, So my intention, and I'm so super excited for this. Like so super like I'm in a place where I'm like, let's go. Let's go there. Let's do this thing. Let's take this step, right? So my intention was, um, I've written it over here. I kind of wrote it a few times and then had a final intention. So I intend to rewire my survival stories around it's not safe and I'm not heard, giving them permission to be felt, take up space, and be able to move forward in life without these fear-based survival stories. They served me in the past, but it's time to let them go. So yeah, I was super pumped up. Like, let's do this shit. Um, and I actually finished my breathe like partway through a process. I finished my breathe knowing that I was in the 5 day nervous system reset. So whilst I was not complete in my process, I was complete for that brief. Um, and it will evolve over the week as the 5 day nervous system reset progressed. Um, I started my breathe just with this overwhelming sense of support that I've been able to create for myself. Um, I always thought I had to do everything alone, and just being able to know that I have all of these networks and I can lean on people when I need to. I do not have to do this alone. And also, just this self support that I've created for myself. Um, so yeah, super pumped up, have this in my body felt sense of support around me and within me. Um, my hands were kind of, I was wearing my big hoodie and my hands were kind of softly, not a tight fist, but just softly grabbing on to the bottom of my hoodie. Um, and it and I actually felt really fixed in position, like I was being held into something, not an uncomfortable being held into something, but just like I was being held into something. And it kind of reminded me of the feeling of being, like when you put a baby in a bouncer net and they've got like this support that sits over their hips and abdomen. That was the kind of feeling that it gave me. So it really got me feeling like and I have shared this story before. It really got me feeling like it was me as that 6 week old version of myself in this bouncer net where this story of I'm not safe arose from. So I really, yeah, felt like I was in that space and I had this visual and this felt sense of like my adult self holding my baby self and again it was just that support I've created for myself within myself, holding that version of my baby self and just like, you know what, like, I'm here with you, I got you, kind of support between that 6 week old me and the current me. Um, and it did feel like a little bit of a reliving of those moments. Um, I came to those statements that I created in my intention. I'm not safe and I'm not heard. And it was just this nice release within my body. Um, I had tears of, just thinking I was crying. I was there, 6 weeks old, crying because that's my only way of expression. and no one heard me, and I just had these tears of like, I am not heard. Um, at this time when I was so incredibly vulnerable and I relied on other people and um, I really needed that help. No one heard me. No one was there for me. No one helped me. No one like saved me in that moment. Um, I'm not heard. And then I just had this kind of like aha moment of okay, so my mum, my dad, my siblings, they did not hear me, but like how much of a miracle is it that I survived this event almost physically unharmed? Like I have some scarring and some pigmentation, but like you wouldn't look at me and go, "Yeah, you received burns as a baby." Like you wouldn't know if you didn't know the story. So it kind of was like this aha moment of, okay, so my parents weren't there, my caregivers weren't there, and my siblings weren't there, but I was surrounded by spirit. Spirit was there. Spirit heard me. Spirit supported me. Spirit kept me safe until, or maybe not until, spirit kept me safe until an actual person could help me. Like I'm pretty sure I've shared the story, but like my mum was vacuuming and she could smell smoke and she thought it was just the vacuum, and so she just was like, "Oh, I'll just finish this part and then I'll go investigate the vacuum." And walked past and saw me and saw fire, blacked out, and then came back with just her holding me by my leg upside down. Um, Spirit was there. Spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, was there. Um, as I said, it's so incredible that I lived through that moment and really had no visibly physical serious injuries of what happened to me. So yeah, I just kind of had this, okay, so they didn't hear me, but I was still so divinely supported through that experience. And um when I had that little aha, like my ears just started like um ringing, like that happens to me quite often. It's like this kind of like frequency in my ear. It's like, it happened to me when I came through that little aha. And yeah, it just felt like I had such ease being able to breathe with that aha. Like I could feel my breath was so deep and so easy, and like the air I was breathing was just so clean and clear, and um yeah, it was a really like little aha moment. Um and then I came back to the I'm not safe, and I started to feel alone. Um, Again, that moment when I needed people and people were not there for me. Um, and it felt incredibly sad. This wave of sadness came upon me, and it was only short felt. Like it wasn't there for a long time because again, I came back to this place of support, like, okay, the people weren't there, but spirit was there. the universe was there. Coming back to this place of, Spirit kept me safe. Spirit did that for me. Spirit was there with me. I was not alone through that process. Um, Spirit kept me safe until a physical person could intervene. Um, there were a lot of kind of subtle sensations through this period, but I really didn't overly notice anything, but I did notice like this pulsating warmth that kind of sat at my diaphragm and kind of not just my diaphragm, but came up a little bit into my heart and a little bit down towards my navel. But yeah, it was just really warming and soothing. Um, um, then in my breathe, um, I really tried to allow myself to be in the experience of it's not safe. Um, and I was feeling in the pit of my stomach, and pelvic organs, like around my lower abdomen. It just this kind of deep feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it wasn't like particularly bad. I thought it would be worse than what it was, but again, I think that came from that level of support and safety that I'd felt prior. Um, Fear was not in the way anymore, and again, that really shifted pretty easily. Um, I did notice different patterns within my breath um, and my way of breathing. Like I felt deep in my diaphragm, like my lower belly was like expanding, contracting. Not much was happening up in my chest. And again, it kind of felt like, excuse me, like when you watch a newborn baby breathe and their bellies just like expand and come back. And yeah, it really brought me back to um that sense of like embodying that baby and that baby version of myself and breathing in that way. And and then it kind of shifted and it was the other way and it was really like upper chest breathing. Um and when I was breathing in my lower belly, I felt like I could really breathe. And then breathing in my upper chest, it really felt restricted, breathing in that way. There were lots of other kind of sensations and um, releases from my body, but yeah, nothing particularly stood out. Um, but for majority of my breathe, I did feel like I was kind of pinned in that position where I was being held. Um, like in like a bouncer, being held at the level of my hips and my lower abdomen. And then right towards the end, I felt like I was free to move a little bit more, and I rolled over onto my side. And right at the end of my breath, I started to feel a little bit more heavy, and I started to feel like this lump in my throat and um yeah, just kind of like this heaviness, which is where my breathe finished. But again, having that awareness of this isn't the end of my process, this is just the end of my process for this breathe. And um I continued the process throughout the week. Um, And I kind of questioned, um, this throat lump in my throat, this kind of just the way that I talk to myself and about myself, and um, having that awareness of, telling myself I'm not safe, or telling myself I'm not heard, or, um, just kind of being cautious in that sense. Um, I also, as I continued in the 5 day nervous system, there were three breathes in that. And yeah, the first day, and actually that process happened because I got a text about somebody that used to be in my life, and it really brought up a lot, which I think was again a continuation of that heaviness that I was feeling towards the end of my breathe. Um, and it really brought to mind, people in my life and experiences in my life where people were just unnecessarily nasty. Um, and I really attribute this to, yeah, just this not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be visible, not wanting to be noticed. And if I do grow and expand in my capacity, I'm gonna have to deal with people who are unkind. I'm gonna have to let go of what I'm holding in order to grow and expand. And then how do I process these people when I come across these people? Because, not everyone's for you and you're not for everyone. And the internet is a space where people can just say all sorts of hurtful things and be a faceless keyboard warrior. And, I guess it was just this releasing of what I've been holding on to, and this um, acknowledgement of, well, if you grow and expand and it's safe to be seen, you're going to come across potentially more of these people. And, like, how are you going to deal with that? What are you going to make that mean about you? Um, So yeah, so that was kind of part of that process as well, anchoring in a little bit more of it is safe, I am supported, and that releasing of and letting go of these, people and experiences and hurtful things that were done undeservingly. Um, by other people. And yeah, it's been a massive, massive, massive week for me this week. And yeah, it just feels kind of really good to have moved through some of that for myself as well. So yeah, apologies. This video has been a bit of a long one. Um, but yeah, I still feel like this process will continue to evolve in the background. And yeah, at this stage, I'm really not sure what what my intention's going to be for Tuesday. It's only a couple of days away, but so much can happen in a couple of days going through these processes. So yeah, so anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following my story, and I will see you in the next video. So bye for now. See you, bye.